John Bowden, growing up in the 70s, it was hard to ignore a band that had a lot of different styles, Blue Oyster Cult. We've had a successful series with Buck Dharma running right now, talking about Ghost Stories, the new Blue Oyster Cult album. And right now, there's only Eric Bloom and Buck Dharma still in the band from the classic lineup. But older members of the band are on this brand new album. In this clip, we talk to Joe and his brother Albert Bouchard on why they left Blue Oyster Cult. That and a lot more on Rock History Music. Blue Oyster Cult, a pioneering American rock band, was formed in 1967 in Stony Brook, New York. Their initial name was Soft White Underbelly, and their classic lineup included Donald Buck Dharma Rozier on lead guitar and vocals, Albert Bouchard on drums and vocals, Alan Lanier on keyboards and rhythm guitar, Eric Bloom on lead vocals and guitar, and Joe Bouchard was the bass player and a vocalist. Their lineup included so many genre bends: heavy metal, psychedelic, progressive rock, and in the beginning garnered a real good cult following in the New York area. But they soon caught the attention of manager Sandy Pearlman. He helped them secure a deal with Columbia Records, and their self-titled debut album was released in 1972, showcasing their electric style and darkly poetic lyrics, laying down the groundwork for their future success. Even non-Blue Oyster Cult fans would know the album Agents of Fortune, which of course featured the iconic lineup. It was the band's fourth studio album, released in 1976, and it was a major turning point in their career. This was the time where the band embraced a more polished and accessible sound, blending hard rock and pop sensibilities. Agents of Fortune became a huge commercial success, largely due to that song, which would later be known as the Cowbell song, which we'll get into in a second, that would be featured on Saturday Night Live, giving it a whole new life. Don't Fear the Reaper. Written by Buck Dharma, the song has a haunting melody and existential lyrics. It captured the imagination of a large audience. Don't Fear the Reaper reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remains a staple on classic rock radio. Another was Godzilla, released in 1977 from Spectres. Godzilla is sort of a tongue-in-cheek tribute to the famous Japanese monster. It, again, was written by Buck Dharma, and the song features one of those real driving riffs, powerful lyrics, describing the creature's destructive rampage. It became a fan favorite, and it's known for its powerful guitar solo. It's also really catchy. Burnin' For You from 1981 and Fire of Unknown Origin, another huge song for the band. It was co-written by Buck Dharma and Richard Meltzer. And this song is what this band does really well when they want to get a bit more commercial, giving it a melodic rock approach and introspective lyrics. The track became a top 40 hit, reaching number 40 on the Hot 100, and was bolstered by a heavy rotation on MTV. Overall, Blue Oyster Cult's legacy is firm in the rock and roll history books, combining some great pop at times, a lot of rock, and metal genres. The band was always well known for complex arrangements, fantastic lyrics, and a willingness to experiment. That's what set them apart from their contemporaries. Now the resurgence of Blue Oyster Cult's song Don't Fear the Reaper. It was significantly influenced by a sketch on Saturday Night Live that aired on April 8, 2000. The sketch was known as More Cowbell, and it became an iconic moment in pop culture, revitalizing interest in that one song and the band. In the sketch, actor Christopher Walken plays a music producer, Bruce Dickinson, and he's overseeing the recording of the song Don't Fear the Reaper. Will Ferrell portrays Gene Frankel, a fictional cowbell player who's very enthusiastic about playing excessive cowbell, which becomes the focal point of the whole skit. Now, despite the band's attempts to focus on the overall recording of the song, Walken's character insists that the track needs more cowbell. Walken delivers that now iconic famous line, "Guess what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell." Now, the humor, of course, and the absurdity of the skit really struck a chord with fans, and it's become one of the most famous Saturday Night Live skits of all time. And that's when Don't Fear the Reaper had a resurgence. People wanted to hear it. And now it's ingrained in pop culture for a whole other reason. What were this? I mean, when you left, because what were the circumstances on you leaving the band? Because you can say fired, and it's what is it? Wikipedia says unstable behavior. Like, what was going on?
Well, I think I was having some personal issues. I was separated from my wife, and I had a girlfriend, and I wanted to bring her on tour, and they were like, "No, we think it's a bad idea. You know, you're acting kind of crazy." You know,
Isn't bringing your girlfriend on tour a normal thing though, or not? Not in that band.
well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. There are plenty of people that do it, or bring their wives or whatever. But they, for some reason, felt that, and here's the odd thing is that, the guys in the band really didn't care, but their wives, they didn't really like my wife. So it was weird, I mean, they kind of liked my girlfriend better, but they just felt like it was, starting up with somebody, before you're divorced. I don't know what it was really, but
Don't give the other guys ideas.
I live for the music, but I also felt, we had just finished making Fire on an Origin record. And for that record, I was, I basically was there every minute of the making of that record because Martin Birch wanted me there. He said, I will give you co-production credit. I said, oh, co-production. Okay. Well, I'm just here to learn, So, and he did. Martin Birch taught me so much about making records. I mean, that was a great thing. Of course, I think, maybe I was not in a condition to absorb it as well, as I could have because there was a lot of artificial energy going on there too.
He produced two, right? He produced.
Yeah. He did the one before it, Cultosaurus erectus, which was more like I just went in, did my drum parts, I did my vocals, that was it, But this one, he wanted me there all the time. He said, I got to have you there. I have to have somebody from the band, and the other guys are like, they don't seem to they don't seem to care. But Donald had gotten a solo record deal, and he was all, trying. He was working up songs for that. I mean, I played on some of his demos. Great stuff. But I felt like, well, but we still, we go out on tour. We have a, you got to let us record Burning for You. And he's like, I gave it to you last year and you didn't like it. I said, well, that was last year. I liked it. I just felt like it was too commercial.
I'm mostly a guitar player now.
Yeah.
I was the bass player in for all the Columbia records for Blue Oyster Cult, but I left because I really wanted to play more guitar.
Is that right? Because that was my next question.
Yeah. I mean, how could you? You're a big rock star, so you throw that away? Well, I just wanted to do different things. I did it for 16 years, and I didn't get much of a chance to play guitar because Buck Dharma is one of the most amazing guitar players the world has ever seen, in my opinion. He's highly underrated, as a guitar player. And I love working with him, even before I was in the band. He used to play in my brother's college band. That's how they got hooked up. I'm sort of still tinkering around with guitars, and I love that. Trying to be a better arranger and, do all the things that you have to do. But it's gotten, actually, with the software, I know we're cursing out software daily.
Yeah. I just did.
and there's nothing that frustrates me more than the software. I could play in front of 10,000 people. It's no big deal. It's great, But when the software crashes, then it gets me. It's like, oh God, how am I going to get out of this hole?
Best part of being in Blue Oyster Cult, what was that highest moment for you?
I would have to say my favorite part, it happened in 2016 when we played in Dublin for the first time. So, because that's, my heritage is mostly Irish, believe it or not. I mean, even I have a French name, but I'm, 10% French or something, and 60% Irish.
Well, I have a
So
French name. I don't speak French. I used to. I don't speak French anymore.
ah,
Jean
oh.
Baudin.
Yeah, of
Your brother
course,
and I
yeah,
talked about that. Your brother and I talked about
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I saw that. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So anyway, so that was a great thing, not just because I was playing in a town that my mother knew from when she was a child, but that the audience sang along. I mean, it was, you could almost not hear the PA. They were so loud, singing every song, every word, and these were songs that the Blue Oyster Cult didn't play that often. Well, it was actually the first time they'd ever played in Ireland. So, and that was with me. So it was awesome. It was completely awesome. I would have to say some of the others were, playing the World Series of Rock with Aerosmith. That was a fantastic thing. I had one great show that I played with Blue Oyster Cult at Jones Beach Theater when it was raining. It was crazy, because that's an amphitheater and everybody's getting wet, and you're on a boat in the ocean. It's not even on land.
What was the toughest part of being while you were in Blue Oyster Cult? What was the toughest?
Oh, I think that after I had my son, that was rough. That was really rough. It was rough for my wife, and it was really rough for me being away from them a lot. And that was in 1977. So that was really, when we were getting good money and we had to do these things. So I couldn't like take off, and we had scheduled our tour to accommodate his birth, but he was 2 weeks late. So basically he was born, he was cesarean. So she was, I had to get somebody to take care of her while I was gone. And her mother came and would stay with her. But she had the baby. I took her home and said, see ya, 3 weeks.
What can you do? I mean,
yeah, it was like, that was bad, man. I felt bad, man.
Blue Oyster Cult will be performing without their drummer. He's looking at this kid.
Yeah. So that was probably the worst moment, was after, Jacob was born. Yeah.
Looking back, do you have regrets? Are there things you wish you would have done?
No, I wouldn't change a thing. It's all been incredibly magical. I'm lucky. I've got great family, a great family. Actually, now that we're all in quarantine, I see more of my family than I used to. We have a Zoom meeting every Saturday, and they're all spread out. Upstate New York, Texas. I've got cousins in Hawaii and Utah, and we have this chat every Saturday. So, I'm glad to, a lot of rock stars grew up with, maybe they didn't have a great childhood and they didn't get support from their parents who didn't understand. My parents couldn't have been more supportive, the best. We lived on a farm, so we turned our barn into a dance hall. We didn't like farming, but we liked rock and roll. So we would run barn dances in the summertime. And of course, it's a big, a lot of summer tourists up there, but they were events, and that really kicked off myself and my brother thinking that, music was really where it was at. We got the bug early, and there was no stopping it.
I don't usually hear a story like that. It's actually rare where I'll say, well, I always ask every artist, how were your parents with this? Did they get it? But your parents obviously really got it.
Yeah. They really got it. My dad played a little bit of guitar, my first guitar was something that he got for $5 when he was mowing lawns as a kid. My uncle had he was really talented. He played the guitar kind of like Les Paul, that kind of jazzy Les Paul stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he had these great Fender guitars, and he was the one that had an amp that got it started. And it seemed to me that the people in my small town up there, the happiest people in town were the people who made music. You know? So that was great. That was great to be able to do that.
God, good for you. Derek Spear says, a lot of Blue Oyster Cult songs had very complex arrangements. How do you know when to stop? Can a song ever really be finished?
No. No, a song can never be finished, but eventually you just, if you still have energy to keep improving it, then that's fine. But if once you feel like your energy is like, okay, this is quite good. I don't know that I'm going to make it better. I mean, we used to do the deteriorata test, and where we would get the take and then we'd do one more to see if it was worse, and usually was, because we didn't want to keep playing. But yeah, we'd always do, there was 4 takes of Reaper.
Yeah. We
used the third one. So yeah, I think you just know, after a while. I mean, you do a lot, and I think that you eventually, you have certain, for me, when you've heard OD Down Life, that, took multiple versions. I think I did about 5 or 6 versions before I was happy with the arrangement, period. And then once I had that clear in my mind, putting down the tracks was easy. I mean, Greg Holt did 1 take of the violin. David Hirschberg did 1 take of the bass. I played all the drum part all the way through 1 take. The vocal was maybe 2 takes. It was like, once I had that idea and I knew, oh, this is, now it's spooky. It doesn't sound like this Rocka Chaka, everybody get up and dance thing anymore. It's, it's spooky.
Yeah, I was listening to both of them back to back just before the interview, and there's, in the new production, there's that thing that, like, I love telling artists when I'm going, there's space in there, when, and not everything's just chucked. There's like space. I love that kind of production where you can hear the instruments.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's something that's happened over the years, is that, you get something that's recorded well. You don't really have to have a whole lot. You have a guitar riff and a drum part and a bass part and, a cool vocal. That's, what else do you need?
Would you and your brother ever go back?
Oh, I don't think. Well, I doubt we'd ever. We have so much going on now, and also it can never really be what it was because we're much older now. There may be a special event, in the future, but it certainly wouldn't be, a continuous tour like those were, those endless tours. No, it would be an event if it happens.
You don't miss that though, do you?
No. I mean, I think it's sometimes it gets a little. I have to remind everybody. No, I'm not in the. I get emails like every week. I get emails. Are you going to be at the show? No, I'm. They got Danny playing bass now, so and
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot from guys who've been out of bands for years,
and they still get their friends, their high school friends or ex-students, or that. And I'd like, and usually I'll send if it's somebody really important, I'll send it to Donald and he'll take care of the guest list, So, yeah, it's good,
Got one more for you. I think it's Billy Silius or Silas. Who came up with the band name? I used to know this. And what does it mean?
Sandy Pearlman came up with the band name, and he took it directly from the song Blue Oyster Cult, which he had written before Soft White Underbelly was a band. So he brought that to the band, when he started managing us. And we're like, too many words. How we ever... Too many words, Sandy.
It's only 4 syllables, though. That's not too bad.
Yeah. No, I mean the song.
Oh, yeah.
The song, but so the song existed, but we were called Soft White Underbelly, and then and we had a record deal with Elektra Records, and we lost that deal. We lost the deal the week that Joe joined the band. Joe joined the band, and we're like, yeah, we got a record deal. We're going to open for Led Zeppelin and all this stuff. He comes down to the city after he'd graduated college, and he's like, what? Nothing. No record deal, no Led Zeppelin. It was like, he's like, well, we're going to make money. And we did. Yeah. He got his gigs. He just went to work right away. He was not having that sorry me stuff.
If you want to help out Rock History Music, there's a link at the very top where you can make a donation or join our Patreon. But subscribe to our channel and like the videos. Share them on social media. Would appreciate that. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music.